Hi, I'm Paula Fry. Today I'm going to talk to you about fats and how they influence the inflammation in your body. Fats can be either good or really bad. When I first got rheumatoid arthritis, I had my first baby and I was newly married, and both of our families had really good recipes, and I loved to cook. One of my husband's favorite recipes were pork chops, and you put them in a casserole dish with butter beans and barbecue sauce over that, and you put it in the oven. Well, of course, pork chops had a lot of fat on them, and that fat got into the butter beans and the barbecue sauce, and the barbecue sauce had a lot of sugar in it too. I noticed after I ate that dish that the next morning I would hurt so bad I could just barely get out of bed. I ached and hurt and had to take medication. Another recipe that our family really did enjoy was chuck roast. And chuck roast was something that we had on Sunday, and we would put it in a Dutch oven, and of course brown it on both sides, and we liked the chuck roast with a lot of fat marbling in it. That meant it was really good, and it did taste good. And you would put it in the oven with carrots and potatoes and other vegetables. And of course those carrots and potatoes were, by the time it was done, were floating in fat, saturated fat, and of course there's saturated fat in the chuck roast. Another recipe that my family really liked was chicken paprika, and or chicken paprikash as we call it. But you would leave the skin on the chicken, you brown it on both sides, you would heat that chicken in some broth and use that broth to put noodles and sour cream and paprika in. And it was very good, but it was really high in chicken fat, a saturated fat. So I would hurt and feel very bad. So I noticed early on that saturated fat really did bother my rheumatoid arthritis. And I noticed that anything with any meat, any dish with a lot of fat in it, I just had a lot of trouble. So I went through a period of time where I tried to cut out all fat. Well, I lost a lot of weight, but I didn't look very good. My skin, the texture of my skin was bad. I kind of had early wrinkling in my face, and so apparently that wasn't the best thing either. So I learned that I started reading about fats and learned all about fats, and of course I had a lot of training in college with a degree with emphasis in nutrition. Canola oil and olive oil are good fats. They're called monounsaturated, and they have chemicals and things in them that are great for inflammation. They are anti-inflammatory, and they are wonderful fats to have in your kitchen. I use a lot of organic olive oil, and it's good to try to get this is not organic canola oil, but if you can get organic canola oil. Another monounsaturated fat is almond oil. This is evening primrose oil and avocado oil. Any of these oils make great salad dressings. They're just very, very nutritious and good and anti-inflammatory. Well, on the other hand, like I said, saturated fats are not good. Any fat from meats or chicken or pork. The only protein fat that is fairly really good for you is salmon, and the fat in salmon has omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential, and most people don't get those anymore. most people don't ever eat fish. They don't like fish. Many, many years ago, a lot of people lived near water because they had to haul water, and especially before indoor plumbing and everything, and they ate fish. That was part of their diet. Well, today a lot of people don't eat fish. Salmon, sardines, some of the mackerels are very good sources of omega-3s. And they're called polyunsaturated fats, if you want to know that. But anyway, and so omega-3s and omega-6s are essential fatty acids that you have to have. The body can't produce them, you've got to have those. Most people get enough omega-6s because they're in everything. They're in cookies and fried foods, and they're just in a lot of things. So you get probably more than you need. And omega-6 has, and I hope I pronounce this right, anhydronic acid that is inflammatory. So you need omega-6s, but you're going to get plenty in your diet, in the American diet. But the one that you need is omega-3. Some people take fish oil. I personally can't take fish oil. I get bloody noses, and it just hasn't agreed with me very well. And there are a lot of fish oils on the market. Do a lot of research before you take fish oil because they could have mercury, they could be contaminated. So just make sure that you get a very good quality fish oil. Flax seeds have omega-3, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, chia seeds have the omega-3. So you can sprinkle chia seeds and flax seeds on your cereal, on your oatmeal, on your salads, and it's just a really healthy addition to your diet. And those fatty acids, omega-3s, are essential. Like I said, the monounsaturated fats are really good for you. They found that women that eat monounsaturated fats have less breast cancer, less inflammation in the body, and of course it's great for those who tend to have heart disease and things like that. So those are great. You need use monounsaturated fats. You've got to have the polyunsaturated fats, the omega-3s and omega-6s. That's just the way it is. You've got to have them every day. And so try to incorporate those things in your diet. One thing that I don't recommend, hydrogenated fats are not really good for you. And hydrogenated fats are usually plant-based, but they stay solid at room temperature. So like your margarine, your shortening, things like that are not good for you. And at one time they had a lot of trans fats in them. I think a lot of these companies have tried to remove the trans fats, but I will tell you something about that. Trans fats are really bad for you. But if they have less than 1 gram, they can say they have 0. FDA lets them say they have 0 grams of trans fat. So I'm just saying it could have trans fat in it, and in a little amount, and it can say 0. So I don't recommend margarine or shortening in your diet. I do use Crisco. I love Crisco to remove my makeup. It's a wonderful makeup remover, and my mother at one time had adult acne, and she was having a lot of trouble with her skin, and she started removing her makeup with Crisco, and her face healed up. So I'm not saying that was the reason, but it seems to me it was, and she believes in it. She uses it all the time. Another oil that has become really popular is coconut oil. About 3 or 4 years ago, when coconut oil, they came out and said, oh, it's anti-inflammatory, it's great for arthritis and everything. I thought, well, I'm going to try that. And I bought it in a health food store, but it was hydrogenated. And remember, like I said, anything hydrogenated at room temperature, that's solid at room temperature, is not good for you. Well, it said to eat 2 tablespoons a day, and I did. I hurt so bad. It was horrible. So coconut oil, I read up on it, and it's one of the most saturated fats there is. But it's processed in the body differently. It has, and let me just put on my glasses to make sure I get the right thing here. It has lauric acid, and it works differently than other saturated fats. So it is, I don't ever recommend hydrogenated anything. Do not get hydrogenated coconut oil, hydrogenated shortening, hydrogenated margarine. Don't just get that out of your diet. But this coconut oil is not hydrogenated. It's liquid at room temperature. I use it in my hair. I have used it on my skin, but I break out with it. So you've got to be real careful with coconut oil. Some people may be sensitive to it, and I was talking to another lady that also had that problem. She broke out with the coconut oil. So I love these oils. I love the olive oil, the almond oil, the primrose oil, and the avocado oil, and I use those in my makeup recipes, my creams and salves and things. So I think there needs to be more research on coconut oil. I have a book called Coconut Oil for Beginners, and you might read that book and just see what you think. It has a lot of information about coconut oil, and I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying see how your body reacts with it, because everyone's different. Like I said, I like it. I like to put it in my hair. It really conditions your hair, but I don't use it in my food because I've had such a bad reaction to it. I just wanted to read you some of the other oils. Safflower oil is very anti-inflammatory. I mean, it's good for you. Canola oil is anti-inflammatory. Olive oil is anti-inflammatory. Sunflower oil is mildly anti-inflammatory. Peanut oil is mildly inflammatory. That means it causes inflammation mildly. Corn oil is very inflammatory, and corn oil used to be used a lot, and it's not used so much anymore. Sesame oil is very inflammatory, and many Chinese and Oriental restaurants use a lot of sesame oil, and I notice when I come home after eating there, I do ache and feel bad. Soybean oil is very inflammatory. Vegetable oil is basically soybean oil, so if you're using vegetable oil, I would stop. Butter is very inflammatory. Palm kernel oil is very inflammatory, and coconut oil is very inflammatory. According to this chart, and this is from inflammatory rates of common fats from the self-nutrition data. You can go online and get that. But like I said, coconut oil is processed in your body a little bit different. I wanted to tell you I have a book called 21 Keys for Renewing Your Health, and all this information is in my book. Plus I have, this is great for anybody with autoimmune disease, especially rheumatoid arthritis, any kind of illness. This diet in here would help you, and it's just really, really a good way to eat. It's a lifestyle, not a diet. It's just a change in the way you live, a change to being healthy and enjoying life and living an abundant life. I also have recipes in the back for natural cleaning products and for natural creams and salves, and lots of recipes in here. You can get this on Amazon. It's 21 Keys for Renewing Your Health, and it's by Paula Fry. I hope this gave you some information about inflammation. The basic thing is get your omega-3s in your diet from fish, flaxseed, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, leafy greens. Use your monounsaturated fats for salad dressings, any type of cooking that you do. Use these fats. Do not use hydrogenated fats at all. And you know, I use a little bit of butter in my cooking for the flavor, just a little once in a while. I don't use it all the time, but you know, if you are making your favorite cookie recipe and you feel like it would add to that recipe, substitute half of the fat for olive oil or canola oil, and use the other half with your butter. And I don't recommend making any high fat recipes because they're just not good for you. But you can change a lot of your family recipes. I have changed chicken paprikash where it's low fat and it's really good. I use lots of good seasonings and it's great. And I don't prepare much pork anymore just because it does bother me. The fat in pork does bother me a lot. It is inflammatory. And I don't make chuck roast. There are other cuts of beef that are very lean that you can use. I especially don't cook my potatoes in with my meats and the juices and things. You just have to use common sense with this. But notice how your body feels once you switch to monounsaturated fats and you get your omega-3s. People that don't get omega-3s can suffer a whole gamut of health conditions. It's an essential fat, and if you're not getting it, you're not going to be healthy. And so you're going to have inflammation. They've even said that some children, most children aren't getting omega-3s in their diet, and they're saying that a lot of the hyperactivity and different things could be because they're not getting the omega-3 fats. So I don't know about that, and I don't know how much research has been done, but I do know it is an essential fatty acid. So be sure to get that. I have a blog spot, THE2FRIES.blogspot.com. I have a Facebook account, 21 Keys for Renewing Your Health. So I hope you got some information today that will help you, and God bless you, and I hope you feel great. Thank you.